She made me believe I was special, until I realized she was dating 4 other men for funding her lifestyle. James and Lily. I'm James. I'm 31, living in Austin, Texas, working as a software engineer. I've always been the kind of guy who kept things simple: work, gym, friends, and occasionally dating when life felt balanced enough. And then came Lily. We met at a friend's engagement party. She was smart, captivating in a way that made everyone notice her when she walked into a room. Not just because of her looks, but her energy. The way she talked, the way she laughed, it felt genuine. Our first conversation lasted 3 hours straight. We clicked over shared interests, travel, food, even our mutual obsession with hiking. I remember thinking, finally, someone who just gets it. By the end of that night, I had her number and a weird feeling in my chest I hadn't had in years. We started dating seriously within a month. She told me she had her own small marketing business. She worked with high-end clients, which sounded vague, but hey, not everyone loves talking about work after hours. Her schedule was unpredictable. Sometimes she'd cancel dinner last minute because a client emergency popped up, or go off the grid for a day or two because of client meetings. But the good outweighed the confusing. She was attentive, thoughtful, showed up with my favorite coffee, planned cute little date nights. She even cooked for me once, which she admitted she never does for anyone. It felt like I mattered. Within 6 months, we were practically living together. She wasn't officially moved in, but her things were slowly filling my apartment. Her makeup on the counter, her clothes mixed with mine, her toothbrush sitting next to mine. It all felt right. And then, small things started feeling off. There was this one time I noticed 2 different phones in her bag. When I asked, she casually brushed it off. Oh, one's for work. I keep them separate. Makes it easier. I didn't think much of it. Then one weekend, she told me she was flying to San Diego for a client retreat. But when I checked her Instagram stories that night, she posted a photo of a dinner table with a man's hand across from her. No face, just a watch and a whiskey glass. The caption read, "Grateful for good company and good conversations." I stared at that photo for a long time. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I even convinced myself it was a client, or maybe one of her friends. But then, it kept happening. Different locations, different hands, same vague captions. A gut feeling told me something was wrong. So, one day while she was in the shower, I did something I'm not proud of. I looked through her second phone. It wasn't locked. What I saw I still struggled to believe. Text threads with multiple men. At least 4. Sweet words. Promises. One of them sent her $1,500 for rent. Another paid for a designer bag. Another booked her a vacation to Miami. And me? I was the guy paying for our dinners and groceries, thinking we were building something real. The worst part? Each guy seemed to think he was the boyfriend. I sat there, reading everything, feeling this weird mix of confusion, disappointment, and this growing fire of anger. Not just because she was lying, but because she made me feel like I was special, like we were planning a future together. But clearly, I was just part of her lifestyle plan. I didn't say anything immediately. I needed time. Time to figure out what the hell to do. And trust me, I figured it out. I didn't confront her right away. As tempting as it was to explode in anger, I knew that kind of reaction would just give her control of the situation. No, if I was going to do this, I needed to be smart. First thing I did, I took screenshots of everything. Every text, every payment receipt, every photo, documented it all, and backed it up to a cloud drive she had no access to. I wasn't sure yet if I'd need it, but I wanted that insurance. Over the next week, I started playing the role of the clueless boyfriend. Same routines, same affection. I didn't let on that anything had changed. Honestly, it was harder than I expected. Every smile she flashed at me felt hollow now. Every "I love you" sounded rehearsed. But during that week, I started noticing more patterns. Lily had a habit of using men for different purposes. One guy was her emotional rock, always there for late-night calls. Another was clearly her financial backup. He Venmo'd her money almost weekly with dumb labels like "for groceries" or "just because." Another one was the adventure guy who took her on trips. And me? I guess I was the stability guy, the boyfriend she introduced to her friends, the one her parents actually knew about, the guy who made her look like she was settling down. It was disgusting. And honestly, kind of impressive how well she balanced it all. But the more I uncovered, the less pity I felt. She knew exactly what she was doing. Then came the part where I started planning my exit, with impact. First, I pulled every dime from the joint savings account we had started together. It wasn't a huge amount, but still, around $8,000. Money we had supposedly been saving for a trip to Europe. Guess that trip wasn't happening. Next, I contacted one of her clients. Turns out, a guy named Alex. He wasn't hard to find. His name popped up multiple times in her texts, and he had an easily searchable Instagram full of pictures with Lily, labeled "My Queen." I sent him a polite message. Hey man, this is probably the strangest message you'll get all week. I think we both deserve the truth about Lily. Call me if you're willing to have an honest conversation. To my surprise, he called within an hour. The conversation was awkward at first. He thought I was lying until I sent him screenshots. Then his tone shifted completely, from defensive to devastated. Turns out, he'd been dating her for over a year. Thought they were exclusive. Thought he was the only one. Spoiler, he wasn't. Alex wasn't the only guy I reached out to. 2 others were easy to find. Same process. Same reactions. All of us realizing we were sold the same dream. It was actually one of them who suggested what happened next. Dude, what if we all showed up? Together. The idea was almost too perfect. We planned it for the following Saturday. Lily had invited me to a private dinner at this fancy rooftop restaurant downtown. Said she had a surprise for me. I played along, smiling as if I had no idea. Little did she know I had a surprise for her too. Saturday arrived. I dressed like it was any other date night. Clean jeans, button up, decent shoes. Acted normal when I picked her up. She looked stunning, like always. Smiled, held my hand, even kissed my cheek like everything was perfectly fine. Ready for your surprise? She asked, all excited. Yeah, I replied, keeping my voice steady. Definitely ready. We got to the rooftop restaurant. Candlelit table. Perfect view of the city. She ordered champagne. Talked about how she was thinking about moving in with me officially, maybe even getting a dog together. The way she spun these plans, like nothing was wrong, it almost would have been convincing if I didn't already know the truth. 15 minutes in, I texted the other guys. It's time. Come up. One by one, they walked in. Alex first. Each of them headed straight for our table. Her back was facing the entrance, so she didn't notice until Alex's voice cut through dinner. Hey, Lily. Funny running into you here. She stiffened, slowly turned. And when she saw all of them standing there, arms crossed, faces dead serious, her jaw actually hung open for a solid 3 seconds. Wow, what's going on? She stammered. I leaned back in my chair. Lily, we know. About all of it. Her face drained of color. James, wait. I can explain. No. Alex snapped. No more explaining. No more lies. You've been dating all of us. Telling all of us we were the only one. Brian pulled out his phone, showing her screenshots. Rent money? Plane tickets? Designer bags? You played all of us. The table next to us fell completely silent. People were starting to stare. She reached for my hand. James, please. I swear it's not. I pulled my hand back. Stop. You had the audacity to sit here and talk about getting a dog together while juggling for boyfriends. Tears welled up in her eyes, but at this point, nobody cared. The manager approached, asking if everything was all right. Alex waved him off. Yeah, just clearing up a misunderstanding. I stood up, pulled out an envelope, and tossed it on the table. Inside were printed screenshots of her messages with all of us. Here, a little keepsake for you. She tried to grab my arm as I turned to leave. James, don't do this. Please. We can fix it. I shook my head. No. You made me believe I was special. Turns out, I was just your rent payment with a side of emotional support. Each of the other guys said their final words, some angrier than others. Alex told her to lose his number forever. Brian called her a manipulator. Mark just shook his head and walked away without a word. As we left, I glanced back once. Lily was sitting there, head in her hands, shoulders shaking. Maybe crying. Maybe panicking about how she was going to fund her life now. By the next day, every guy had blocked her. Gone. Radio silence. I also made sure to quietly warn a few mutual friends about who she really was. Word spreads fast in our circle. A week later, I got a long email from her, full of apologies, excuses, saying she was in a bad place and didn't know how to stop once it started. Said she regretted everything and that she really did care about me, whatever that was supposed to mean. I never responded. Funny thing, life's been a lot quieter since. Peaceful even. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.